Now that sun is a bit low. It's affecting my eyesight a little bit. How do you think it's going to be affecting the players?
Yeah, definitely if you're going onto the left side of the field on the camera, it will just be in your eyes when you're running deep.
Has Schrader got the legs? Is he going to lay out? No, he's not. He gives up on that one. The old Flinders duo, Ogden-Schrader, not happening in that instance.
Unfortunately not. Been a few throwaways in that exact same spot now. 2 in this very point.
As we welcome you to this commentary for Super League 2022, brought to you by Peak Performance. We have the East Adelaide Force versus the Northern Flyers, and the East Adelaide Force took the very first point with a Callaghan, bringing you up to date. If you've just joined us, and they are 2-1 up as Mazar takes the disc. Fowler with fingertips almost on that, sends it across to Christie.
Just put it through all the tall people, and Turnbull comes up with it.
Sorrento, cool and calm under pressure. Back to Turnbull, and the Northern Flyers even up the score 2 apiece. They'll be happy with that one.
Yeah, break back again. In the somewhat awkward upwind into the sun.
I was saying before that the wind is slightly swirly here.
Just a reminder, the Northern Flyers only have 7 players out tonight. So the same 7 players on now are the same 7 players you go and see every point.
He's saying there's no change in the lineup.
Not that I've seen.
No, I haven't seen that either. So Joseph Petrie has definitely got the pulling duties and the handling duties on this Northern Flyers team in white to the left of screen.
Yep. While Sean's gone, Joe's in charge. Old UNISA friends.
That's a big call.
Marty's probably in charge of this team, but...
Yeah, I'd probably say Marty's more in charge, but we won't tell Joseph that. If he looks at this live stream, I didn't say that either. By the way, my name's Phil Shields, and I'm joined today by George Wrong,
yep.
Adelaide Uni veteran. So welcome to Super League 2022, Adelaide, South Australia. Early summer, a beautiful day here. My name's Philip Shields.
And I'm George Wrong. And we've got the 5th point of the game now. Scores even. Ogden and Pillar Rogers back as we watch Nick chases this down. Might have lost it in the sun, actually.
Meinenberg with a lovely backhand there. Nick puts his hand up to say, yep, that was my bad that time.
And I think that might have been actually the sun affecting that one. He had to run back, probably had the sun in his eyes, and then looked up and just completely lost the disc.
Not too many turnovers at the moment. We had 1 or 2 in the first 2 points, but very minimalistic on these turnovers. Lovely inside flick by Petrie. Finds Turnbull. Turnbull looking.
Tonkin looking deep.
Puts a speculator up. Oh, a little bit in the back there. It's not going to be a call by Christie. More of a box out than anything by Kaido, but Christie happy with that one.
I think some other players would have called a foul on that, but I think Christie's okay with that level of physicality.
Yeah, and that sets the tone for the match, really, doesn't it? I mean, it wasn't a lot in that, but this is Super League, this is higher level, so we'd expect a little bit more of that physicality. Of course, Ultimate Frisbee is still a non-contact sport if you're unfamiliar with it, but here in Adelaide, South Australia, this is our top level. This is a draft pick. Lots of players putting their name down for 4 teams, North, South, East and West, and the top players get picked to get put into that. As we see Meinenberg in the action again, throws back to Pillar Rogers. Back to Ogden on the far side. Oh, look at that, Keith Chow all alone in the middle. Who's on him? Connor Fletcher. A little bit disappointed in that one. There's Arenatus was streaking long again, but Meinenberg looked him off.
Pillar Rogers now in the middle, directing traffic, trying to clean up the stack, and then he just puts one out into that corner. might have distracted the East LA. Oh, no, might have distracted the Northern Flyers with that traffic directing.
We see it here again. You can see there Pillar Rogers with it in hand as the director of traffic. And we see Sam Ogden point. Disc is up in the air. It looks like Christie just gave up on that one in the end for an easy score.
Yeah, bit of deception there, I think. Veterans move.
Very veteran. I like the point from Ogden there. So please, Mr. Pillar Rogers, put it over there for me. And obligingly, as old Flinders Uni teammates, he did. Welcome back. We're still in the timeout called by White after Black scored their third point. It's still a close game, but I suspect that they are struggling with their legs at the moment. What do you think, George?
Yeah, definitely. Luckily, the weather's not as hot as it was yesterday. If it was like yesterday, 33-degree day in South Australia, it's not fun to play ultimate frisbee in.
And close to 40 the day before, 38-ish. So we have had a bit of cooler weather at the moment, which will be more helpful. I remember the days back a number of years ago, actually before COVID, because we haven't seen Super League for a while, when sweltering 40-degree days, people looking for every bit of shade, you know, ice water everywhere. Do you think this summer we're going to see any of that happening?
I think it will definitely get warmer as the summer goes on, but these last couple of years have been strange weather-wise. Of course, back in the day, Super League used to have a tournament day where you'd have to play 4 or 5 games in one day in 37-degree heat, and it was not fun.
Not fun at all. As we see that replay there for Meinenberg to Everanatis, I don't know what happened, just lost it a little bit. The next one there was that Kaido, little bit of a arm in the back, forearm.
Yeah, and I think, like you mentioned before with the sun, that looking back at the disc when it's coming back is awkward.
There's the point by Ogden at the back, and Christie just giving up on that.
Yeah.
Black come out of their huddle with a solid cheer. Meanwhile, we've got White right in front of us, just to our front right. And they are, 4 of them sitting down, really knackered at the moment, wondering what they're going to do.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many of them went over to Melbourne. I think only Patrick Christie did. He went over to Melbourne over the weekend for a Melbourne tournament called the Melbourne Tournament. Not a very original name, but...
Patrick Christie taking his time to get up. Don't know if he's conserving energy or just trying to get into the heads of the Black team, making them think that maybe he's not as fit as he used to be. He's just like ambling back to that line. No, picks up the pace a little bit. It's just a bit of a play, trying to get into their heads, I think.
Yeah, he injured his hand 2 weeks ago as well, so there were doubts on whether he was even going to play today.
Was that gaming? Was he doing computer stuff?
No, he was playing Ultimate Frisbee, surprisingly.
Ultimate Frisbee.
Got injured by, I think it was a bad disc thrown by Gareth Cheng, so shout out to you, Gareth, if you're watching.
Well, that's not surprising from Gareth, but well done, though, to Christie to try and pick that up. Was it a bit of a layout, was it?
I have no idea, I wasn't there.
Dig out from the ground by the sounds of it.
I've only heard stories.
And what stories they are.
Now, I'm not sure what the rule is with timeouts. I think that normally meant to be 90 seconds, right? I feel like we're...
That was a bit of a longer one, definitely.
Northern Flyers definitely milking it, but...
Ogden opts for the roller.
Good call. Allows them to set up. On the sideline even. And this side is the bad side to be on, because the wind is pushing it away from it. So you'd imagine that Greg would want to put a strong no around. So he's trying to prevent the disc from going to Christie, who's being marked here by Ben Foley.
Zargo D. We've got Ogden peels off.
Great grab by Sorondo.
And that's an easy catch by Mazar to even up the score. Northern Flyers 3, East Adelaide Force 3. Let's look at that replay again.
Yeah, just peeling off the stack a bit.
And then Ogden leaves his player, Sorrento, and perfectly weighted just to outreach Ogden's fingertips so Sorrento can get it. And for a moment there, I thought Mazar might have to lay for that, but his long legs and his good stride making it an easy walking point in the end.
Yeah, Sorondo and Petrie definitely making that point look easier than it was. There's some great vision by Petrie to even see Sorondo there.
So you can see the teams there. In white, the Northern Flyers, we have Patrick Christie, we've mentioned before. Mazar Tonkin, Oscar Turnbull, a newer player. Joseph Petrie, who'll be their main handler. Sorrento in the stack we've seen, but I suspect will also be their handler. 2 reserves, Connor Fletcher being called up, and Curtis Kleinig doing well. For Black, we'll come back to that later, maybe after our next score, as we return to the white team.
Yeah, Connor's typically been a handler in past Super Leagues, but in this reserve position, I'd imagine he'd be cutting a bit more. He's a bit out of Frisbee shape, hasn't played Ultimate Frisbee in a few months now, so probably less disc duty for him.
Yeah, rocking the hat as well.
The big hat guy.
Big hat.
Petrie pulling the disc again.
We have a dog foul on the field at the moment to right of screen. You won't be able to see that, but lovely, large, friendly German Shepherds just decided to say hello to some of the players as the person who's walking the dog goes to get that dog as well. So hopefully ready for the pull now. That one's going to hang for a while, I feel.
Yeah, going to land in the middle of the field here.
About 3/4 of the way up the field. That's a decent pull. Did one earlier which made the full length, which was lovely to see. Kaido with the disc now.
Yeah, it's not a very strong upwind downwind here. It's more of a one going to the side, so you'd expect them to be able to throw that distance still.
Ogden going for slash handler cuts. Making a few metres at a time. Foley, Pillar Rogers. Nice flow. Sees Chow.
He gives it back to Ogden.
Little dishy there.
Kind of stuck a bit here.
There's an easy toe-in score by the Foley Meister.
Foley just does everything. He does the little things well. He doesn't stand out as much as someone like Greg or Joel because he doesn't always have the disc in his hand, but does a lot of good things.
Yeah, lovely footwork there by the Maestro. As we come back and we look at this black team, the East Adelaide Force, Joel Pillar Rogers picked #1 by Ben Powley. Greg Schrader looking then, Keith Chow, Ben Foley. Florian, new recruit. Do we know much about Florian?
Yeah, I think he's a German exchange student. He's doing his PhD or something. I'm not actually sure what he's doing, but it's at Adelaide University.
Okay, we've got Sam Ogden, and we've got a really good, strong, solid, old-school Flinders Uni backbone there. Nick Everanardis, Timothy Stevens, Kaido Foster, Santiago, who's not here today.
Yep.
Wes is here today, however, Wes Strawn there as well. So looking at those two teams side by side, you can see their white definitely struggling for numbers. Their captain, Sean Lace, going for a party tonight over Frisbee. We won't mention that too much, maybe once a point minimum. But it'd be good to see this white team at full strength when they get their captain back.
I think general consensus is that the Northern Flyers team is one of the weaker teams on paper, so it doesn't help that they're missing a lot of their players as well.
Yeah. And that one just lands inbound, Christie. taking up some handler duties. Straight up force. Mazar going deep, Everonardis following, not looking at it. Petrie had the disc in hand, probably could have put it.
Ball with the disc in the middle here.
Looks off Sorrento, a bit late. Everonardis just working off of Mazar.
And Tim Stevens losing his footing there, so Joseph Petrie gets clean.
Yeah, so we saw Petrie had to sort of dive for that disc. That shows that the wind is behind us. That's why it dropped early on. Now that was a grab that should have been taken. I like the fact that he went for the safe crocodile catch then, but that wasn't an option. Should have gone for the extended hand on the rim to catch that one.
That might just be his out of Frisbee shape showing there.
Drawn, solid.
Faking the flick there.
Interesting choice of Chow looking at the handler position. What do you think of that?
I think it's just a matchup thing. I think because he has Connor on him, they like that matchup a bit. So they know who can get free from him since he's actually in shape. So that's probably the reasoning behind it. He's also fairly safe with the disc, so you don't mind the disc in his hand too much.
Yeah.
Some sort of call here. Might have been a pick.
More than likely. Tim Stevens has been around for a long, long time. Picked a number of times, and it's good to see him still being picked in these teams.
Fun fact, he's actually the leading goal scorer last year.
Wow, great.
Of course, playing for the South Side Riptide. The offense was centered around him. If all in doubt, hug to Tim Stevens.
Nice.
Off the line cut there by Petrie. He just goes deep.
Toes the line in. Mazar puts his hand up. This is going to be a ripper of a game. It's going to be a close finish, I hope.
Yeah, hopefully the Northern Flyers have got the legs to keep up.
That will be the tale to tell of this game, I feel.
Bad sign when you're 2 players hunched over. Watch this inside throw to nothing.
Petrie low release flick, just hogging that sideline.
And I think he'll be looking to put a lot deep. I think the Northern Flyers will want to end their points earlier, so they'll try a lot of bigger shots. Maybe they'll try a bit more ambitious shots even. You saw Petrie have 2 completely different looks from that sideline. One all the way across the field to Sorondo, and the other one all the way deep to Tonkin. That scores all level at 4. Watch Joseph Petrie pull the disc again. Not sharing that at all. And another dog on the field. Well, the same dog actually. Yeah.
This game brought to you by Peak Performance in Port Adelaide. If you want to improve your performance, get it to that peak level, contact Peak Performance. They will get you there. They specialise in performance training, rehab and conditioning.
Yep. This coverage also brought to you by ULTI.TV. Do a lot of good streaming work.
We're very happy to have our ULTI.TV partners on board, Mike Palmer and Rex as well. Helping with this coverage, my name's Phil Shields. Joining me is George Wrong.
Yeah, recently ULTI.TV went over to New Zealand to film their Mixed Ultimate Championships, both Division 1 and 2, I believe.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of going over there, not as commentator, but I did some filming. I was on camera 1, which is the main pole cam, which is part of their setup. And it's good for any sport. So if you have sporting needs, please contact ULTI.TV, especially Frisbee, but we do anything.
It'll be interesting watching all these pools go across. This one lands on the good side of the field, where they've got a bit more to play with because of the wind.
Got a deep poach by Mazar. Schrader was going to go long. Pillar Rogers almost put it in his hands, but saw Schrader pull out at the last moment. Schrader all free on that far side. Everanatis drifting on this side. Chow on this side as well. Little dishy over the top.
Of course, with the poach, they do have free players running around everywhere as we get some sort of cool here.
More than likely a call by White saying, I'm tired. They are playing savage.
Yeah, so we saw Greg get completely free a couple times. They were poaching off of him, I assume because he's usually the deep receiver. So they poached off him. But you don't really want the disc in his hands all that much.
And White in disarray at the moment, dare I say it. They're not really picking up their man. It's not quite man coverage, but it's not quite zone either. I think they're really trying to conserve their energy. They're feeling it a little bit. Even though we've got a cool breeze here, the sun is out. It's not a beating sun at all. It is in your eyes. The sun is to the left of the screen. You can see the long shadows going to the right of screen. But I think White are feeling the legs or lack of at the moment. Is that Sean Lace?
Yeah, Sean Lace, captain of another team, the Southside Riptide, going up to give them some sort of advice. Not sure what he's up to.
Hear the wind in our microphones.
Yeah, very confusing weather. Not sure if it's hot or cold.
I don't think the weather knows if it's hot or cold sometimes at the moment.
Yep.
Now here we've got uniforms coming for this Super League as well. What do you know about that, George?
Yeah, so the uniforms are provided by Double Happiness. They will be arriving sometime near Christmas. So Super League in the past has had uniform, but for a while now has not. And they'll be back, which will be good because I'm sick of, especially when a blue and a black team plays, you're not sure whether someone's wearing a very dark blue shirt or a black shirt.
Sometimes get a multitude of colours, don't you? Going from sky blue to deep blue, and the blacks can vary as well to greys and dark green sometimes. I really like some of the uniforms, modern uniforms, the designs they've got on. They look quite good on the guys as they play and help everyone to understand, hey, this is my teammate because they're in the same colour as me.
Yep, definitely.
Not necessarily looking for Sorrento, but gets him. I think he's looking for Kleinig at the back there, but Sorrento grabbed it anyway.
If it works, it works.
It works, absolutely. You can see here on the replay. So he's looking definitely at Curtis Kleinig, but Sorrento saw that as well. Quite lucky in a sense that that wasn't a defensive player because Mazar just had eyes for Kleinig then.
Yeah, there were a couple of times that point where he just threw that flick. I'm not actually sure what they're forcing. It seems like they're kind of doing both at the same time, but seems a bit confusing.
What do you think of this introductory game? Because I'm not seeing a lot of intensity from either side, given the good weather conditions we've got.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate to see, actually. Northern Flyers, for obvious reasons, probably a bit gassed, but East Adelaide Force might just be taking it easy, getting the feel of each other, especially on defense. You wouldn't expect any sort of funkier matchups going on right now, any funny looks, other than maybe a pommy zone.
Yeah, we'll see what happens near the end of this game. Game's a regulation 90 minutes, so I understand it's about 100.
I'm not actually sure. I think it must be 80.
80 even,
Yeah.
okay. So short games, that will suit the Flyers.
So I think it's 80, soft cap is called, and then 90 or 100, hard cap will be called. Typically the teams are good enough to finish it in the soft cap time.
35 minutes. elapsing or thereabouts at the moment in this game, and we're 5-all, essentially 0-0. No one's got a score, but they have. They've got 5 each.
Yeah, completely even still. So Northern Flyers are keeping up, which is a bit of a surprise, I think, to most people.
And that was an interesting pull from Petrie then. He went more for the inside-out backhand. He's opted for mainly down-the-line floaters, but using the wind to his advantage then.
Tim Stevens completely free here somehow. Almost still behind Ben Foley.
Nice movement by Black.
Somehow everyone is poached.
Yeah.
And everyone who received that disc was just completely free.
I think you mentioned it before, White, gassed, just really, I mean, they're in the game for sure, 5-all, now 6-5 to East, but yeah, it's just on defense, they're not looking like they're a team or a unit, or they don't have thirst or hunger for the disc at all.
It's a bit confusing. You're not really sure what kind of look they're putting on. It kind of looks like a match. It kind of looks like they're poaching, but it could even be a zone that we're just not aware of.
I wasn't really looking for it. Maybe next time we'll have a bit of a look. How about that, George?
Yeah, that's a good idea. A lot of chatter going on for this East Adelaide Force team. Usually when there's a lot of chatter, you'd say they're going to put on something funnier for defense, but it doesn't really seem like it so far this game.
Yeah, Force with a luxurious 3 or 4 man sideline here, I think, at the moment. Flyers with 0 on the sideline, playing Savage. Savage, of course, means they're playing just with the regulation 7 players, which you have on the field at the same time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much better these players get over the course of the season. I think especially young players such as Oscar Turnbull will benefit greatly from Outbreak trainings, and he will definitely improve in the coming weeks.
Of course, Outbreak being the premier men's team here in South Australia.
Yeah, Oscar making the mountain team for the first time, which is the premier team.
As Pillar Rogers takes the pull, and that landed nicely in. I don't know if that's really up. Nah, did touch the ground, didn't quite have full controller. Rogers straight onto that straight away. Looks for Ogden, Flinders duo. Foley wants it. Ogden opting for a hammer. Is that Connor Fletcher getting in the way?
He's come out of nowhere for that one.
He's spoiled the party for Black.
We've got to have a look at what kind of defense they're throwing, but...
Do we get to see that again? We've got a dog in the background. Here we go. There goes. Where's Fletcher come from? Leaps up high. Arenada's disappointed that he didn't get that. Probably could have attacked it a little bit to put Fletcher off, but opted, and now we have a bit more intensity in this game. Look at that, milking that Turnbull.
Like a veteran right there.
Absolutely, and Sorrento giving it up easily. That was a chance for White. They needed it.
He did give it up, but it was thrown a little bit behind him as well, so I can't fully put the blame on him. But
and another one thrown behind, this time by veteran Ogden to Foley. They're throwing behind him. Foley full pace trying to get rid of Mazar, hot on his heels. Gives an easy D to Mazar for fantasy points.
yeah, now Christie's picking up the disc. So it might not be a huck straight to the end zone like Petrie does, but he's still capable of it.
Mazar's looking long. Will Fletcher put it for him? He's free.
He really thought about it, but he always thinks about it. Oh my, almost shot that one again.
Petrie looking for his second juggle. Still free. Probably wants it back sooner than later.
Yeah, and I think these two have some pretty good chemistry going on.
Inside. Turnbull's got a good leap, but so have these others.
Oh my goodness.
How did he get that? George Wrong, how did he get that?
I have no idea. I'm so confused.
That was an Oscar Turnbull sandwich, and he came up with the goods. That was tasty. Let's have a look at this again on replay. There's the Turnbull sandwich. Ogden and Everardis had the best read, did Turnbull, and he pulls it out of the sky. And Flyers would be happy with that recruit.
Oh, definitely. And I think I'm just looking on the sideline here for Johnny. He would be happy with selecting Oscar to the Outbreak Mountain as well. I think if Northern Flyers want to repeat this season, they'll definitely need someone like Oscar to step up, and I think he definitely has the potential to. I personally haven't seen him all that much. I've seen him in both of the state leagues this year, but as someone who's played with him, you might have a bit more insight into his improvement over the year.
Yeah, he started off quite a rookie a couple of years ago, playing for a local team, Southern Hills Ultimate, with a few friends, about 16 years of age. And now, after a couple of seasons just in the local sort of minorish state league, he's definitely improved his game. And since joining the state men's team Outbreak training, he's really upped his game.
Yeah, and he'll definitely need to continue improving if the Northern Flyers want any chance to repeat this season.
Look, if you want a player to follow this season for improvement to see how they go, my money is on Oscar Turnbull.
Definitely agree. There are a couple of young players in SA Ultimate who I've got my eyes on.
Yeah, who are they?
So Oscar Turnbull is definitely one of them. His good friend Lachlan Earl.
He's injured, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Did himself, what was it, a knee, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So that's put him a bit behind Oscar. They did start together, and they're coming up the ranks together really nicely as well, as Tim Stevens grabs that disc from Meiningberg. But Lachlan Earl, another good player to look out for.
Yeah. I did see him playing the other day, so he might be closer to a return than you think. As well as Daniel Roberts, who's playing for the West Beach Titans, I believe.
I'd like to see Dan's play. Is Dan playing today, next match?
He is.
He is. That'll be a good one to look for. He's got speed, he's got height. But like a lot of these, I'll call them juniors for now, just need to learn a bit more of the game, a bit more of the flow. Dan probably looking a bit more handling practice, getting safe throws under his belt. As we see there, Meinberg, sorry, I don't know how to say that. Throw to Pillar Rogers, and Black up by one again.
Yeah, made it look quite easy. Joe Pillar Rogers kind of just strolled up that line to grab that one.
See that on replay.
Sort of lost him. I think he might have thought it was already a goal, but it was not. So Joe Pillar Rogers just strolls up the line, gets that goal. Always good for fantasy, Joe Pillar Rogers is. Hasn't played for a bit, but always a staple of many fantasy teams because of the many assists that he always gets.
Yeah, very veteran handler. Played for Australia in his youth. Good height, good jump. But as a lot of old players age, like good wine, they retire to that handler position and get those assists, as you just said.
He's always been a bit of a handler. Back when he was athletic, he was just a complete dominant threat everywhere.
I think it's because back in the day, like Joel was one of those early players that took up ultimate Frisbee, and from that he had to be that all-rounder to help teach the newer players here in South Australia. And a lot of South Australian players, either directly or indirectly, have been taught the Pillar Rogers method through his early days of the Australian playing, and he learnt a lot there, brought it back to Adelaide, and SA Ultimate has grown through him.
Yeah, famously or infamously known as Joltimate, where you'd throw the disc back to Joel a lot because he was definitely the best player and you'd want the disc in his hands.
And even in this match, sometimes that's happening. He gets it every second touch.
Yeah,
but I definitely wouldn't call this Joltimate. This is definitely Super League, and each of these players capable in their own right.
Definitely. As we see a bit of a zone look coming out now, so finally a different look.
Yeah, that's good.
Big inside, breaks the zone completely.
Fletcher giving up on that. I would have liked to seen Fletcher just run through, take that give-go, but Schrader chasing that down to get in front of the disc.
goodness. A big scuba over the top.
Turnbull with the decoy, so Sorrento can get the score.
A lot of creative throws by Joseph Petrie this match so far to break open the defense. You see this.
What do you think of that scuba?
It looked not fantastic.
It looked haphazard to me.
It looked like he was just throwing it out of nothing, but there was a plan behind it.
Yeah.
And it was perfect.
So we come to Galaxy Point, I believe, with 7-all. Looking at the team that takes this point will take half.
Yep. A lot closer a game than many anticipate. But I'm glad we have a good game in our hands to start off the league.
So going into half-time shortly after this point. Please stay tuned. We've got the second half of this match coming up. It will be exciting. It will be close. We want to know who wins this one. And then we've got a match straight after as well. So hang around, grab a drink, grab some food wherever you are, and you settle in for the evening or morning, wherever in the world you are, to some fantastic Super League Ultimate brought to you from Adelaide, South Australia. Let's look at Galaxy Point. So we've really had, have we had them on serve or we had breaks at the moment? I can't even remember that, but it's been toe-to-toe, put it that way.
Yeah, we've had breaks, we've had people breaking each other back, so it hasn't been completely clean, but definitely close so far.
Big strides from Petrie. Opts for the inside-out backhand once more. Now, Ogden having to contend with the sun there. Holsters it. Pillar Rogers making space. Close to the end zone. Gee, wouldn't White like a Callahan here?
Would be a great way to bring up the half.
There goes Florian. Should be able to read this. Oh, just outstretched hands by Turnbull. It's a big job on Florian. Oh, he tries another one. And what were we talking about Tim Stevens before?
Gets a lot of goals.
Gets a lot of goals.
Yeah, unfortunately Oscar just stumbled a bit as he misread the disc. Put him in a pretty tough position here. So you watch that go up. He backpedaling there.
Backpedaling not good. He should have done the sidestep or just run and look behind.
Yeah, but he'll learn that as time goes on.
But it was a good effort, second effort there as well to try and get that disc. From Florian as he put it into the end zone. As East Adelaide Force take half at the 47.5-minute mark. We'll have some halftime caps for you and come back straight after half and continue our commentary from Adelaide, South Australia.
Looking forward to it.
My name's Phil Shields.
I'm George Wrong.
See you in a moment.
Well, technically, Fowler. I don't know. Technically.
Welcome back to the second half of the first game of season 2022 of Adelaide Super League. My name's Phil Shields. I'm joined
by George Wrong.
We've just had a very interesting first half going neck to neck, toe to toe. 1 point only always separating these two teams. No team managed to get a 2-point break during that first half. What do you make of that, George?
I think the East Adelaide Force actually got the first 2 points of the game, but then since then, it's just been 1 point difference.
Wow, just kick the boot in for my my old age Alzheimer's. That's fine. No, I can take that. I can take that. Look, I was listening to the black team then, and also spoke to their captain Joel Pillar-Rogers, who's echoing what we were saying in that first half commentary, that the intensity really isn't there, and also he's noticing the swirliness of the breeze is also playing a little bit of havoc, not being able to sort of like call to players on the field because of that wind carrying the voice away. So a whole lot of factors in there for a lack of intensity and this even score.
I think there could also be a thing where they're taking the Northern Flyers lightly because they're missing all of their marquee players. So they might be playing a bit down to their level even.
From what I heard in that halftime talk, they weren't discussing that greatly. They were really looking at their own efforts. Really saying, look, we've got to lift, we've got to bring it. We've got to play D a lot more harder because at the moment, both teams are having fairly easy runs to the end zone for the scoring.
Yeah, definitely. Might be a bit of a subconscious thing.
Could be in the back of their minds.
You see this East Adelaide Force team? They've got a mixture of height here. A lot of tall players.
Yeah, and we've got Keith Chow and Kaito there as well, left of screen with a long white jersey underneath the black singlet. Some of their smaller but quicker players.
Yeah, it's a good mix to have.
Pillar-Rogers puts his hand up, goes for the pull. Regulation stuff, end to end. Petrie to receive.
Petrie and Christie still in control of this key as we see it big inside as Tonkin drops that one.
Pillar looks off Kaito. Only had eyes for Florian.
Yeah, uncharacteristic drop there by Martin Tonkin.
Kaito knocking on the door, goes to Florian Meinbolg. I'll get that right one day. I did actually ask him how to pronounce it, so I feel as though I've let him down. Meinenborg. It's more of a Borg than a Berg is what I've been told. We'll see that again on replay. Kaito, it would have been good if he just like hopped that and stuck the back foot out. But it goes for the assist. Fantasy points extra for him.
Yeah, and I think that's just transition defense lacking there. It's tough to get back in defense after you drop it.
What I really like from the first half I saw once or twice, and just then, is Pillar-Rogers just being so switched on, not giving a quarter, picks up the disc straight away after the drop, while Mazar is still in his head going, why did I drop that? And Mazar, you could see, just had to quickly regather, no time for sorrow or tears in his eyes, and has to get back on D straight away, and the whole white team had to do the same as well.
Yeah, I think he was very much in his own head about it. Very unusual for him to drop a disc like that. He's usually very safe with a disc.
I do remember looking at him when he did that, and he looked away from the catch almost instantaneously, and you just can't afford to do that at any level in Frisbee, I think. You can't sell the disc before you've bought it. And in that instance, that's what I felt Mazar did. He went for the easy catch, and he looked upfield just a fraction too quickly for my liking.
I'm willing to bet that the wind just bobbled right before it came into his hands. That's how he lost it. As we get a bit of a different look now. Connor Fletcher back in the handler space.
Mazar looking deep. Rogers on him.
Petrie front of stack.
Fletcher looking for the upfield cut, but Chow straight on that. Sorondo deep. Pillar-Rogers gives up because he sees it fade. Mazar can't get to that. And the wind, maybe a little bit from low to high, perhaps played a little bit in that turnover. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely dragged it across there. And unfortunately just faded away. But it was a bit of a different look there. Petrie not touching the disc at all that possession, which is unusual.
It's Fletcher looking for the poach.
He's punished for that as it goes straight to Chow.
Two easy unders. Both of them looked off. Crossfield cut. Ogden, Foley, Christie. Everyone's in the match up there. Oh, I love that outstretched hand by Schrader.
This is just a matchup nightmare. There's
Petrie read that beautifully.
just flow the disc a little too much there. And Petrie reads that well. Great poach defender.
Yeah, he does that often. He does it very well, I feel. That's high. Was that a stall out?
They claim it
It's
is.
a turnover one, unless it's...
Oh, I think he's...
If it's contested stall out, it will possibly... Oh, no, it won't come back.
No.
Well, no, because it's a turnover.
And
But that is not
Tonkin.
good. That is not good. Mazar with clutching his right ankle or his foot. Can we see here? There's the poach. Look at that, straight through.
Good, pass it off quickly.
I like the way Turnbull, even though he's young, didn't throw that straight back to Petrie because he felt that defender coming up for an easy D.
Yeah, good instincts.
There's this hands by Stevens. Let's see here, we can see what happens. There's that foot, yeah. Just clipped his foot. Was that Ogden then?
I'm not sure if he got clipped or if it's just some sort of injury in general.
Whoever that player was, that was right next to Marty.
Nova Scotia Electric, become a member.
Yeah, and of course, just a reminder that this coverage is brought to you by ULTI.TV. Do a lot of great work, especially in the South Australian streaming, but they also do work in Europe a lot now as well.
So I'm looking at this white team on the sideline just in front of us, and Marty is, I wouldn't say he's struggling, but he's probably just not happy that it happened. And he knows that this is important. He needs to stay on because they're playing Savage. So there's a lot of things going through his mind, I suspect, at the moment.
Yeah, and he's definitely the leader of the team tonight. So he's got to set a bit of an example now that Sean's not here. In that halftime talk, he was definitely the one doing all the talking. It was confusing there. He was grabbing his foot on the field, grabbing his hamstring as he was walking off, and now he's grabbing his ankle. So
Yeah, I think there was definitely a foot on his foot. Might have clipped his ankle as well. That could have caused a bit of a strain going up that lower leg.
yeah, he's definitely one of the players who is very outspoken about wanting a lot of subs. So he's definitely not happy about tonight, I'd imagine. Superman on the field. Oh, Spider-Man, sorry, on the field.
Spider-Man. How do you think Spider-Man would go in Ultimate?
Depends how many of the rules that Spider-Man can break, because obviously he can shoot webs up out of Frisbee and catch it, but that's probably considered cheating. Spider-Man has a very good grip.
I don't think the Spider-Man we're seeing at the moment would ever cheat, though.
No, probably not. Oh,
As the call comes up from the
there's crime.
town.
There's crime on the streets, and Spider-Man's gotta go.
Looking in the sky, we've got a bit of a foolish moon, even though it's daylight at the moment. Spider-Man doesn't care about that. Spider-Man's running rings around the cone.
Putting it back to where it's
Cone
supposed
does
to be.
not stand a chance against this Spider-Man.
Putting it back onto the line where it should be, so fixing the field for us. save the day again.
So we are playing the stall out. Sam Ogden is to pick up the disc. Black sets up first. White will set up on them once Black are set. Spider-Man.
Hey, Felix! Over here, buddy! This way! Follow the sound of my voice!
Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Does whatever a spider can.
You're almost there! Almost there! You did it!
We're back.
Everyone set. Standard vertical stack. Foley under. Dump to Pillar Rogers. Schrader from the back.
Big fake before giving back to Joel Pillar Rogers.
Chow getting free of Fletcher. Outstretched hand of Mazar. Pillar Rogers doesn't take advantage of Mazar's overrun.
Big called. Strondo beat up the line there by Ogden. I think everyone was expecting Chow to throw it back to Pillar Rogers. Faked them out. Puts Ogden up the line, as we're here now after the pick call. And Pillar Rogers. So Wesley, he just puts that round to Schrader. He can of course throw those kinds of throws to Schrader because they've had such a long time playing together. And Joseph Etchery.
Big poach off of Strawn, yeah.
Punished for that one.
Cheeky backhand no looks sort of not quite a scuba, but yeah, what can you say as East Adelaide pull away now, making it a 3-point lead.
Yeah, great throw by Schrader there. Recognising the poach. It's helped Joseph a few times, but punished for that one.
No look, high release backhand.
They're just getting away now. 10-7, East Adelaide Force.
Yeah, and looking at the white team walk back, and they look like a team that's given up. They really do to me. You know, this is the high level of ultimate, but it doesn't help being savage. I don't think it's been a super intense match. I mean, I'm saying all this from the luxury of a chair on the sideline, but I would have thought they would have had a bit more in the tank because there isn't that intensity at the moment. I mean, yes, they will be playing hard, but for this level, I just expect a little bit more.
It is the start of the Nationals training season, so
Campaign, yeah.
not quite in shape yet. Probably not as in shape as they would in the middle of April, where Nationals, of course, does happen. But, yeah, I agree, as you said. They still are doing conditioning over the off-season. A lot of these players should be fitter. But, of course, it's still very difficult to go out and run, making multiple cuts.
Absolutely easy for us to say from our comfy chairs.
Yeah. That rolls back.
Turnbull almost made a rookie error of stopping it on the sideline, but it gains about 3 metres inside. More to the middle of the field. Sorrendo's going long, but that disc ain't going to make it as it fades right. So disc from Fletcher has a little chat with Chow.
Just completely missed through that. That is unusual. Put a lot of tilt on that disc, so it just floated up, and then the wind just carried it out of bounds. But now they're on the sideline.
Fletcher doesn't seem too unhappy about it. It's good that they're happy, though.
It's true. Oh, he knew that was going to happen. That's why he threw it like that.
Yeah.
Now they're in a better position.
Christie with the disc.
Get those fantasy points back. Big Mark, waving his arms around.
Turnbull's going to put one up. A hammer has a centering handler disc. Interesting choice. It's good that he's not afraid to use different passes.
Now Tonkin directing traffic, looking for an inside, forces it.
Look at that inside break under the hands of Foley.
Beautiful throw. It's a great cut as well. Gives you one more thing to think about as a mark. If
Here we see it again.
the thrower has a good inside,
Let's look at the cut. There Sorrento goes. Is that Stevens on him? Half a step behind, stutter step. Sorrento just in the perfect position at the back. Realised Stevens wasn't looking at him, took that as a sign and said, I'm going to get this score. I'm going to at least try for our white team and make it look respectable. Hey, if they get one or two more, they're back in it.
it's true.
10 all. It's not going to be unheard of. We're only at 67 minutes at the moment.
Oh, it's definitely still within reach. And of course, Sorrento just catching Stevens a bit off guard there. Great. Breakside cut. See the arrival of Dennis, Game 2's commentator, and the dog, and snacks.
Dennis Shine.
Sean Lace going off the books here.
Of course, the next game, West Beach Titans going up against the Southside Riptide. Change captains, with Ferdy taking over from Wilson on the West Beach Titans, and Sean Lace taking over from Samantha McKenzie on the Southside Riptide. And they've also switched colours, which makes things very confusing. Corner here.
That's a nice pull. Weinborg, the disc.
Ooh, Fletcher
Everanatis, nice jump to protect the catch.
almost
Weinborg,
getting a piece of that.
Weinborg going long. I just want to say that name so I can get it correct. Ogden points. Here's the call, Sammy from Foley.
Goes deep.
Around the outside. Thank you, ma'am. Dozy Do, your partner, to Greg Schrader for a score.
And I think even if you are well rested, Greg Schrader's a pretty tough person to mark, but if you're playing Savage very tired, it makes it twice as bad. Well, it seems like there's a bit of a break side cut as well. Back out to 3-point.
Petrie throws his cap off, as you saw on the replay, and he slams the water bottle down on the ground. He is not happy with that around pass that Ogden did to Schrader just then. He's not happy with the defense at all. People are getting way too free for his liking. All of these players are competitive. I'd like to say none more so than Joseph Petrie, but he's looking livid at the moment.
It is unusual to see him care this much about defense. He's usually considered an offensive player. Great with a disc in hand, and great at poaching off in D.
As we saw with that great poach D that he got earlier, a few points ago.
Basically made a living off that.
As the shadows lengthen here, the sun goes down behind the trees. We probably will be seeing game 2 under lights, I suspect.
Yeah. Which is better for some people, but if your eyesight is bad and have astigmatism, it's not so fantastic. See Ogden with pulling duties here, even though Joel Rogers is on the field, so switching it off a bit. So you see what kind of defensive look they have. It might just be a match defense again. Yeah.
Christie under, stutter step towards the stack, then back before his man can get to him.
Yeah, started as quite a deep stack, but that allowed Christie to get under straight away.
I have a feeling there's a call there because Foley came into Mazar's line as he wanted to go up the line, but I actually feel that Foley just stopped on that line deliberately. Mazar just had to go through him, but there was a call there. Petrie milking it for another couple of metres. Nice low release. Is that going to fade right? I think it is.
It's going to be an aerial battle.
There was no hand contact. Oh, was there? Oh, it's uncontested. My mistake. It looked like there was a clean tap on the disc, but obviously not.
Might have just got a piece of the hand on the way. So watch it again.
So not a strip, but rather a foul. So no score until White catches it.
From the end zone.
Ow, is there going to be a call on that? That's a strip call. Foley robbed twice, maybe, maybe not. Only 2 players on the field really know what's happening. Turnbull needs to clear out of that prime real estate position as Meiningberg is close by and will get any throw to him.
Another uncontested foul there.
Good work by Oscar to clear that from that space. Sorrento, nice D. There's the intense D by Black at the moment. I'm liking this.
Yeah, making it very difficult to score.
Interesting matchup, Chow and Sorrento. Bit of height difference. Chow peels off. Something zony going on. There's definitely something zony going on here.
Yeah, just pushing them back. They're not seeming to gain any distance
Stevens
forward.
on the disc. I do like this defensive look. Pillar Rogers takes Turnbull. Old versus new.
Yeah, putting in the work.
Look, red zone is really hard for White to score here. What is going on? Sorrento. Christie to Sorrento, and they find a way in.
Beautiful score.
There are cracks in that Black defense.
Really patient offense there.
Yeah, good patience.
Pushed it back. Didn't panic at all. You see Christie just jogging for that one.
Stevens making a bit of a rookie error going to his player rather than going straight across to where his player was going to go. Of course, Stevens to lag behind Sorrento.
Throwing off throws, and you always find a crack in the defense.
That's right. Flyers within 2 now of the force.
Yeah, like Super League. Brand new year, brand new sponsors. Very exciting that we have 3 now, one of which is Peak Performance.
Peak Performance?
PEAQ. They've got a fundraiser coming up at the end of the year on the 18th of December. It's raise funds for Haley as part of their community. She's diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia just after her 2nd birthday. Unfortunately, they're going to move interstate, and Peak is doing a fundraiser to help them raise funds for that move and to get treatment. So
it's good to see companies these days do that for people. Companies that give a damn. That's what I like to see, you know, about the little person. They get in there and help. They give it their all. And Peak Performance is just one of those companies, I feel.
Yeah, it's the local companies that really care about their communities, I think. Northern Flyers looking lively again. They're getting a bit of energy back after that point.
Maybe they just had a bit of sunstroke. Now the sun has definitely gone down behind the trees. There's just a little narrow channel in the field that you can see there of light that I doubt will come into any dropped catches, but commentator's curse can always come into play. Never underestimate commentator's curse.
That's why we do the job, so we can curse them.
It's those little moments you live for that you sort of think, yes, I do have some power over life after all by making a comment, thinking something won't happen, and then, yes, it will.
Yeah, you can make as many comments as you want and not knock on wood because you want to see the curse happen.
You want to see the curse happen, always. Approaching the 82-minute mark of this match.
Maybe I was wrong about the 80-minute time cap. Maybe it's oh no, it has been called already. So we've had time cap be called during that timeout. So after this point, whatever the the higher score is, you add 1, and we're playing to that.
So we're either playing to 12 or to 13.
Yep. If Northern Flyers score here, they only need to score 2 more, which is very achievable.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if the East Adelaide Force score, they're going to come back 4 points in a row, which is a much more difficult task. As we get Ogden picking up disc here. Inside throw to Greg. Seen that a few times already tonight.
Yeah, nice scuba. I'd like to see a comparison side by side of Ogden scuba versus Petrie scuba before.
That was a beautiful one by Petrie. We're getting a lot of resetting to Joel here. Over the top. Using the height. They continue to do that. Even to Kaito Foster.
Boom. There it goes. East Adelaide Force 12, Northern Flyers 9. Game to 13.
Yeah, might be a bit of a difficult task for Northern Flyers, but definitely not unheard of. Kaito Foster having a relatively quiet game, but managed to get the assist there. Get some fantasy points up on the board. So one of my least favorite things, wearing the white shirt on the inside of a black singlet. Playing against the white team.
I don't like that either, actually. It can be a little bit confusing because you sort of see the white, don't you?
Yeah.
You see the white strong.
Well, the worst one I've ever seen is the Adelaide University City to Bay shirts, where it's black on the front and white on the back.
Oh.
And anyone who brings that out as Frisbee, I'm not happy.
No. I hear your pain on that one, George.
Just coordinate your colours, which is why we have Double Happiness providing uniforms. After 3 weeks, I think. After week 4, we will have uniforms and everyone will look great.
Looking forward to seeing those. Have you seen any, do you have any inside goss on what they look like, what the designs are?
I actually have no idea at all. So I will be just as surprised as everyone else.
It'll be a big reveal.
I'm looking forward to it.
So Adelaide Super League brought to you every Monday night live on your favourite streaming channel where you're watching this right now, either as a replay or live. It will be coming to you through our partners ULTI.TV, worldwide ultimate coverage. We're happy to have ULTI.TV on board as well as Peak Performance. And our uniform sponsor?
Double Happiness.
Thank you very much, George. Potentially the last pull of this game, but hopefully not, because we like more points.
Cashing that one casually. Petrie. As we see this East Adelaide Force defense ramping up.
Surrender goes to ground.
Good effort on that grab.
Bigger round to dump. Underneath the hand of Schrader.
Turnbull working hard to get that one.
Oh, he wants something. Look at your dump. Look at your dump. No. Oh, got away with stall out. Stall out. Yeah, this is something I have noticed with Oscar. Sorry, Oscar. He does hold on to it for a long time. I like the fact that he is looking for options, but he needs to be more aware of the stall count at the same time, and often goes for, just holds it too long.
Yeah, the high levels, I think general rule of thumb, if you're not a primary handler, is at stall 4, you need to start looking for your dump. And you even heard the frustration of his teammates upfield yelling at him to look at his dump.
Rookie mistake.
As he will learn. He'll get there.
He'll get there.
As this just continuously goes through Joel. Feels like I've gone through a time machine.
We were just talking about that earlier. Who will he pick out one of his favourite Flinders, or will he pick out Stevens, or?
I think Nick is a good candidate here. He's standing near the back of the stack. Nick Evernitis.
Oh, one hand outstretched. Kaito. Oh, that raise at the last minute.
that disc just flew up.
Oh, but Kaido, safe as ever. Hand-eye coordination. East Adelaide Force take the game, 13-9. What did you think of that game, just briefly?
Overall, a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Very competitive game, all things considered. How about yourself?
Yeah, the intensity is just something I'd like to see ramped up. We are getting a breeze here. It's going to cool things down. So I'd want to run harder in this next game. So stay tuned with us. Brought to you by ULTI.TV, Peak Performance and Double Happiness, Adelaide Super League 2022. I'm Phil Shields.
And I'm George Wrong.
And it's been a pleasure commentating for you. See you soon.
See you later.
ULTI.TV